welcome to the deep dive. Today we are really getting into one of the greats, F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, but not just skimming the surface.
No, definitely not. We're doing a proper deep dive, focusing specifically on those first 9 chapters. We want to pull out all the details, the granular stuff that builds that whole world.
Right, the world of the 1920s, the jazz age, the clash of money, dreams, all of it.
We're looking at Nick Carraway, obviously, Gatsby himself, Daisy, that whole opulent, restless scene.
And our mission really is to distill what Fitzgerald lays down in these chapters. We're hunting for those surprising bits, the specific details, like what kind of cufflinks Meyer Wolfsheim wears.
Yeah.
Or the exact schedule a young James Gatz wrote for himself.
Exactly. The little things that make this whole magnificent but ultimately fragile world feel so real. Okay, so let's start with our eyes and ears in this world. Nick Carraway. He kicks things off with that famous piece of advice from his dad.
Oh yeah, the classic line. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had.
And Nick says this makes him, inclined to reserve all judgments. That's his whole stance, supposedly.
Supposedly is the key word there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating because he says he reserves judgment, and maybe that's why people confide in him. They tell him their secret griefs.
Right. It gives him access.
Exactly. But then almost immediately you notice his narration is just dripping with judgment. Beautifully written judgment, but judgment nonetheless.
Oh, totally. He calls Tom Buchanan's body cruel almost right away.
And he pegs Jordan Baker as incurably dishonest.
Yeah.
So that reserved judgment, it's actually his biggest advantage as a narrator. It lets him observe everything, all the moral decay, before he finally steps back from it all.
And his background kind of sets him up perfectly for this role, doesn't it? He's from the Midwest, solid family background, but he's come east to make his fortune.
Yeah, spring of 22 to get into the bond business. He's looking for those, what does he call them? Shining secrets that only Midas and Morgan and Maecenas knew.
That phrase alone tells you so much.
It really does. Fitzgerald's packing in centuries of wealth concepts. The Midas, that's the mythical, maybe dangerous, pure gold idea. Morgan, that's the industrial titan, the Gilded Age power broker. And Maecenas, well, he's the Roman patron, wealth supporting arts and culture.
So Nick's not just after cash. He wants the secret sauce of established power.
Precisely. The kind of power that feels effortless, entrenched.
And that power, geographically, it's all mapped out on Long Island. This slender, riotous island. Specifically, those 2 enormous eggs.
West Egg and East Egg. Identical in shape, he says.
Which is interesting. Why make them look the same?
Well, I think it underscores the whole illusion of the American dream, the idea of mobility. They look the same, suggesting similarity, but socially, they're worlds apart. It's a rigid divide hidden by similar appearances.
So West Egg, that's where Nick lives, in that weather-beaten cardboard bungalow right next to Gatsby's huge place. That's the new money zone.
Yeah, the nouveau riche. It's flashy, maybe a bit gaudy. People there likely earn their money, possibly recently, maybe not entirely, legally. It hasn't settled yet.
Whereas East Egg, that's different.
Oh, completely. East Egg is old money, inherited wealth. The white palaces, as Nick calls them. Think aristocracy. That's where Tom and Daisy Buchanan live.
And the vibe between the eggs is tense.
Disdainful, maybe? Amusement mixed with contempt from the East Eggers looking at the West Eggers. The money amount might be similar in some cases, but the social standing, absolutely not. It's a solid wall.
So let's walk into East Egg, meet the Buchanans, Tom first. He's not just rich, he's imposing.
Yeah, Fitzgerald gives us such a physical description. Sturdy, 30, former football star at New Haven. That supercilious manner and, yeah, the cruel body.
What does that cruel body really suggest?
It's power, but also maybe pent-up aggression. He peaked young. He's incredibly wealthy, brings polo ponies from Lake Forest for crying out loud, but he seems deeply restless, like he's searching for something to dominate. The cruel body hints at the violence he's capable of, physically and emotionally, because there's nothing else challenging him.
And then there's Daisy. Her voice is almost a character itself.
Absolutely. That low, thrilling voice. A singing compulsion, Nick says. Something unforgettable for the men who've loved her.
It sounds like pure charm, but
underneath, there's this deep sadness, right? The voice is almost like a shield, enchanting everyone, maybe even herself. But the most revealing moment, the most chilling, is when she talks about her daughter.
Yeah, Pammy. She hopes she'll be a fool.
I hope she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. I mean,
He's devastated.
it really is. It's her admitting that in their world, for a woman, Intelligence and awareness just lead to pain. She knows Tom's cheating. She knows her life is gilded cage. And she thinks blissful ignorance is the only path to happiness for a woman valued only for beauty and charm.
And that tension just simmers until the dinner party scene where Tom gets worked up about that book.
The Rise of the Color Empires.
Yeah.
He gets really passionate, violent about it, pushing this idea that the Nordic race is dominant and needs to stay that way.
It feels so jarring and specific.
It is specific. Fitzgerald's showing Tom isn't just some vague bigot. He's echoing the actual pseudoscientific racism and eugenics theories that were floating around in those elite circles back then. It was a way for people like Tom to feel intellectually justified in their privilege. Gives them a framework,
Instead of just admitting they're rich and bored.
Exactly. And then, after all that ugliness, the chapter ends so quietly, but with such impact. Nick's back in West Egg.
And sees Gatsby for the first time.
Alone. Reaching out across the water in the dark towards that.
Single green light, minute and far away, at the end of Daisy's dock.
Boom. The central symbol is locked in right there. The light is tiny, distant, but Gatsby's gesture is huge. It bridges the physical gap of the bay and the massive social gap between the eggs. We don't know his story yet, but we know it's all about reaching for that light, that impossible desire.
Okay, so we've got East Egg, the old money palace, West Egg, the new money struggle. But between them lies something else entirely. The Valley of Ashes.
Yeah, the necessary connective tissue, but also the dark underside. It's halfway between West Egg and New York City.
And the description is just bleak.
Utterly desolate. Fitzgerald paints this picture where ashes literally grow like wheat. They form these grotesque mounds and shapes. Everything's covered in powder. The men are ash gray, barely visible. It's the industrial runoff, the waste dump for the glittering lives lived elsewhere.
Morally and physically.
Absolutely. And watching over it all, those eyes.
Dr. T.J. Eckleburg, huge blue eyes on a fading billboard.
Gigantic. Retina's a yard high, Fitzgerald tells us. Big yellow spectacles, but no nose. Just looming there.
Such a strange, powerful image. Just an old ad, right?
Exactly. For an oculist, long gone. It was meant to sell better vision, but now it's become this blind, vacant stare. Like the eyes of God, maybe, but a God who doesn't seem to see or care about the decay below. A silent witness.
And it's in this landscape that Tom makes Nick meet his mistress, Myrtle Wilson.
Right. At the garage, her husband, George, runs. George B. Wilson.
And George is just faded, blonde, spiritless man, Nick calls him, anemic.
He's the human equivalent of the Valley of Ashes, isn't he? Completely dependent on people like Tom maybe buying a car from him.
Yeah.
Utterly beaten down.
And Tom's attitude towards him is brutal.
Just utter contempt. He's so dumb he doesn't know he's alive. That's Tom's assessment. It's that casual cruelty of the upper class towards someone they see as insignificant.
But Myrtle, his wife, she's the opposite of George.
Oh yeah, she has this immediately perceptible vitality. Even though she's described as stout, not conventionally beautiful maybe, she crackles with energy. When Tom's there, she basically ignores George, walks through her husband as if he were a ghost. She wants out.
And out means that little apartment in New York Tom keeps for them.
Yeah, their escape hatch. And once she's there, Myrtle tries to transform herself, changes into a different dress, cream chiffon, adopts this impressive hauteur.
Trying on a different persona.
Totally. But her natural energy kind of bursts through the seams of this fake sophistication. It makes the small tapestried room feel even smaller, more crowded.
And that party scene is quite something. We meet her sister, Catherine.
Red hair, milky white complexion, and the McKees. Chester, the photographer, and his wife Lucille, who Nick describes as languid, handsome, and horrible.
Horrible. Wow. It's a whole different level of social striving, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the lower rungs fueled by cheap booze and gossip. And this is where Nick hears the first concrete rumor about Gatsby's origin.
Right. Catherine pipes up.
Says he's related to Kaiser Wilhelm. A nephew or a cousin. That's supposedly where the money comes from.
Which is interesting because it makes his wealth seem foreign, maybe sinister, but grand enough for the scale of it, not just, boring American industry.
Exactly. It provides an exotic explanation that fits the mystery. Meanwhile, the party gets louder, drunker. Myrtle's getting carried away.
She's feeling powerful in that little room.
Too powerful for Tom's liking. She starts chanting Daisy's name.
Daisy, Daisy, I'll say it whenever I want to. Pushing the boundary.
Big mistake. Tom's reaction is swift and brutal.
Hits her. Breaks her nose with his open hand.
Just like that. No hesitation. It's shocking, but it also confirms everything hinted about Tom's need for control, his cruel body. He silences her, asserts his dominance over both women in his life.
And Nick's reaction.
He's caught, isn't he? Within and without, simultaneously enchanted and repelled. Drawn in by the raw drama, the energy, but disgusted by the violence and the carelessness. That phrase perfectly captures his role throughout the book.
Okay, let's shift back to West Egg, to the source of all this mystery and rumor, Gatsby's place. Those parties, they sound legendary.
Beyond legendary.
Yeah.
Almost mythical. Nick describes people moving like moths towards the light and music. Champagne flowing, a full orchestra playing.
Not just a little jazz band, a proper orchestra.
Right. Serious musicians. And the scale of the cleanup. 8 servants working all day Monday just dealing with the aftermath, the ravages. It gives you a sense of the sheer expense, the performance of it all.
And the weirdest thing is who's actually there.
Exactly. Most guests aren't even invited. They just turn up. They treat it like Nick says, an amusement park.
Consuming everything Gatsby provides.
While knowing absolutely nothing about the man himself, that's the only tribute they pay him. Ignorance.
And that guest list Nick jots down on the timetable, July 5th, 1922. That's like a social X-ray of the era.
It's brilliant. Fitzgerald uses it to map the whole scene. You've got the East Egg names, the old money slumming it, rubbing shoulders with, well, everyone else.
Movie people like Newton Orchid.
Representing that new Hollywood money. Gamblers like Ferret. And then the really shady characters.
Yeah, Ripley Snell, heading to jail soon after. And G. Earl Muldoon's brother.
Who afterwards strangled his wife. I mean, it's grim.
It really blurs the lines, doesn't it, between high society and the underworld?
Completely. Fitzgerald showing you it's all mixed together in the jazz age. Wealthy elites, bootleggers, criminals, social climbers. All partying under Gatsby's roof. That's the reality behind the glittering facade.
And amidst all this chaos and speculation, killed a man, German spy, bootlegger. There's that great little scene in the library.
Ah, the Allied man.
Yeah.
He's drunk, amazed by the books.
Because they're real.
Absolutely real, have pages and everything, he says. Yeah. He's stunned by the thoroughness of it, the realism.
But it's a specific kind of realism, isn't it?
It's the realism of a stage set. Gatsby bought real books to complete the illusion of a cultured, established gentleman. But crucially, the pages are uncut. He hasn't read them.
So it's all about the appearance, the performance of depth.
Exactly. It concerns. His whole life is a meticulously crafted persona. He wants the look of history and substance, not the actual thing.
Okay, so Nick finally meets the man himself, Gatsby. That smile, the old sport greeting.
Yeah, instantly charming. But then comes that car ride, Gatsby's attempt to lay out his backstory.
It's a mess.
Beautiful, rehearsed mess. Son of wealthy Midwesterners, all dead now. Educated at Oxford. He sort of chokes on the word.
And claims San Francisco is in the Midwest.
Which is geographically challenging. Then there's the whole young Raja phase, hunting big game, collecting jewels, trying to forget some past sadness. Nick sees right through it, notes the phrases are worn so threadbare.
But then Gatsby pulls out proof, sort of.
Right. The medal from Montenegro, valor extraordinary, seems legit. And the photograph from Oxford, looking the part. Plus the card from the police commissioner that gets him out of a speeding ticket.
Did the commissioner a favor once?
Yeah, that hints at connections, power beyond just money. Threads of truth mixed with elaborate fiction.
And those threads lead directly to the source of the money, don't they? Meyer Wolfsheim.
Bingo. Gatsby takes Nick to lunch, specifically to meet him. And Wolfsheim isn't just some businessman. He's the guy.
The guy who fixed the 1919 World Series?
Yep. Played with the faith of 50 million people, as he apparently boasted. If you can corrupt baseball, America's soul back then, what can't you corrupt?
It's a huge red flag about where Gatsby's money really comes from.
Absolutely. And Wolfsheim himself. The description is so vivid. The large nose and those cufflinks.
Human molars. Ugh.
It's grotesque, right? It links the financial corruption directly to something visceral, maybe violent. And this is the man vouching for Gatsby, calling him an Oxford man, a perfect gentleman.
Which, coming from Wolfsheim, probably means something very different.
It likely means Gatsby is reliable in their business dealings. He can be trusted in the underworld sense. That's the real foundation of the dream house.
Okay, so we have all these pieces. The parties, the mystery, the shady connections. And then Jordan Baker drops the bombshell. She tells Nick the real story.
And suddenly, everything clicks into place. It all makes sense. She takes us back to Louisville, 1917.
Daisy Faye. Young, beautiful, popular, dressed in white car.
The picture of purity and Southern charm. surrounded by young officers from Camp Taylor, and one of them was Lieutenant Jay Gatsby.
Before the wealth, before the persona, just a young officer in love.
Exactly. And Jordan reveals they were madly in love. But Gatsby was poor. He went off to war. She promised to wait, but she didn't.
Tom Buchanan arrived with his status and his money.
And that $350,000 string of pearls he gave her the day before the wedding, that's like the price tag for her future.
Jordan finds Daisy drunk that night, right? Clutching a letter, wanting to call it off.
Yeah, presumably a letter from Gatsby. She's hysterical, wants to give the pearls back. But it doesn't last. She pulls herself together, marries Tom the next day. Security wins. Old money wins.
And Tom being Tom, he doesn't waste any time being unfaithful.
Nope. That story about him wrecking his car soon after the honeymoon with a chambermaid from the hotel who broke her arm, it was in the papers. Daisy knew what she'd signed up for almost immediately. Confirms her cynicism.
But the truly staggering part of Jordan's story is why Gatsby built that house.
This is the core revelation, isn't it? He bought that specific mansion on West Egg because it was directly across the bay from Daisy's house in East Egg.
Just so she'd be close, visible.
The entire empire, the house, the parties, the orchestra, the bootlegging fortune, it was all constructed for one purpose: to be seen by Daisy, to lure her across the water, hoping she might just wander into one of those parties.
All that effort for such a seemingly simple goal.
It's almost heartbreakingly naive, isn't it? After building this colossal illusion, all he really wants is for Nick to invite Daisy over for tea. He wasn't trying to conquer the world, just recapture one lost moment with one woman.
And that reunion scene, it's so charged with awkwardness and hope.
Oh, Gatsby is a wreck. Completely frantic. He has Nick's lawn mowed, sends over practically a whole florist shop.
Shows up in that perfect white suit, silver shirt, gold tie, looking the part.
But inside, he's falling apart. Pale, trembling, almost knocks over Nick's mantelpiece clock.
That clock moment feels significant. Trying to stop time.
Or turn it back? Maybe. He desperately wants it to be 1917 again. The tension is palpable. But then, once they actually start talking, Nick sees Gatsby just glow. A new well-being radiates from him.
And then, the shirt.
Ah, the shirt scene. It's so excessive, so revealing. Gatsby starts pulling out these piles and piles of beautiful, expensive shirts. Linen, silk, coral, lavender. Just throwing them on the table.
Like he's showing off his wealth, proving he can provide now.
Exactly. It's a desperate display. And Daisy's reaction is complex. She doesn't just admire them. She buries her head in them and starts crying.
It makes me sad because I've never seen such beautiful shirts before.
She's crying for the lost years, right? For the life they could have had if he'd had this wealth back then. She's confronted with the material reality of the choice she made, marrying Tom's secure fortune instead of waiting for Gatsby's uncertain dream. It's devastating.
And after this emotional peak, Gatsby points out the thing that started it all.
The green light. Across the bay. He shows it to Daisy.
And Nick has this crucial realization.
Yeah. He understands that the light's colossal significance had now vanished forever. It was everything when Daisy was an unattainable dream across the water. Now that she's here, in his house.
It's just a green light on a dock.
The symbol has collapsed into reality. The perfect, infinite dream has been traded for the messy, actual person. And something is lost in that exchange.
Gatsby then kind of accidentally spills the beans about his money, doesn't he?
He stumbles. Nick asks how long it took to earn the money for the house, and Gatsby starts the inheritance story, then corrects himself. Admits he was in the drug business, and then I was in the oil business.
Basically confirming the bootlegging rumors.
Yep. A quick, hushed confession. And right after that, Nick has his final insight about Daisy, about her voice.
It wasn't just charm. It was...
full of money. That's what he realizes. That was the inexhaustible charm. The jingle of it, the symbols, song of it.
Wow, so her allure is inseparable from her wealth, her status.
Fitzgerald nails it there. Daisy isn't just a person Gatsby loves. She embodies the very thing he's striving for, that protected, untouchable, careless wealth. Her value is her monetary value, in a way. And that's the prize he's been chasing.
So the affair begins. Daisy starts visiting Gatsby in the afternoons, and Gatsby gets worried.
About gossip. He needs privacy now. The public spectacle phase is over. Now it's about secrecy.
So he fires his entire staff, the party crew.
Yeah, all of them. Replaces them with these shady guys connected to Wolfsham, guys who supposedly ran a small hotel, people who know how to keep quiet.
That feels like a dangerous shift, trading the illusion for the criminal reality.
It is. He's bringing the underworld into his dream world, just as things are heating up, literally and figuratively. The day of the big confrontation is brutally hot.
That oppressive heat really mirrors the tension, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Everyone's on edge, irritable. They decide to go to the city, escape the heat, but it just makes things worse. And Tom, suspicious and spoiling for a fight, insists they swap cars. He drives Gatsby's car.
That very noticeable, very yellow car.
Crucial detail. And on the way, they stop at Wilson's garage again, in the Valley of Ashes.
And George Wilson is not doing well.
He looks physically sick, greenish. He tells Tom he's found out something funny about Myrtle. He knows she's having an affair, though he doesn't know with whom.
And he's planning to take her away, lock her up.
Yes, as he's taking her west the next day. He's desperate. So Tom is realizing he's about to lose his mistress, just as he feels threatened about losing his wife.
The stakes are getting incredibly high. And then comes Myrtle's mistake.
As they're leaving the garage, Myrtle looks out the window. She sees Tom driving the yellow car, but she sees Jordan Baker next to him.
And she assumes Jordan is Daisy, Tom's wife.
Exactly. Nick notes she stares at Jordan with jealous terror. In her mind, that yellow car is now definitively linked to Tom and his wife. A fatal misidentification.
Then they all end up in that stifling suite at the Plaza Hotel in New York.
The air conditioning probably wasn't great back then. The heat, the tension.
Yeah.
It's unbearable. And Tom launches his attack.
Goes right after Gatsby's Oxford story.
Yeah. Calls him Mr. Nobody from nowhere. Forces Gatsby to admit he was only at Oxford for 5 months after the war, part of some army program. It undermines the whole Oxford man persona.
The facade is cracking wide open.
Tom presses his advantage. He demands Gatsby tell him what's going on, then forces the ultimate confrontation. Demands Daisy choose.
Gatsby wants her to say she never loved Tom, the one thing he needs to hear to validate his entire quest.
But Daisy can't do it. She's torn. She admits, "Oh, you want too much. I love you now. Isn't that enough?" And then, crucially, "I did love him once, but I loved you too."
That kills Gatsby's dream right there. She can't erase the past.
Nope. She's too tied to the security, the history, the ease of her life with Tom. Seeing her waver, Tom goes in for the kill.
Exposes Gatsby's business, the bootlegging, the connection to Wolfshame.
Calls him a common swindler, says his drugstores are fronts, completely demolishes the image of the mysterious millionaire, reveals the dirty truth.
And Daisy just retreats.
Her courage evaporates. She can't leave Tom for this revealed reality. She tells Gatsby, "I can't say I never loved Tom. It wouldn't be true." The dream is officially dead.
Tom, victorious, almost contemptuously tells Daisy to ride back with Gatsby in the yellow car.
Yeah, rubbing it in. Go on. He won't annoy you. He knows he's won. He gets the wife back. Gatsby is left driving the car that now symbolizes his failure.
And that drive back leads straight to tragedy.
Myrtle, who's been arguing fiercely with George, sees the yellow car returning. Thinking Tom is in it, coming back for her perhaps, she runs out into the road.
And is hit. Instantly killed.
By that same yellow car. Fitzgerald describes it brutally, her breast swinging loose like a flap. It's sudden, horrific.
Later, when Tom, Nick, and Jordan arrive on the scene, Tom immediately understands what must have happened.
And his first instinct is self-preservation. He makes sure Wilson and the police officer hear him say very clearly that the yellow car wasn't his. He points the finger directly at Gatsby.
Protecting himself, and maybe Daisy, too, by sacrificing Gatsby.
Exactly. And the chapter ends with that chilling image back at East Egg. Nick peers in the window.
Sees Tom and Daisy in the kitchen, sitting opposite each other, cold fried chicken and ale between them. Untouched.
Conspiring together,
Yeah.
Nick realizes. Not happy, maybe not even speaking much, but united in their shared carelessness, their survival instinct.
And that's when Nick delivers that final verdict on them.
They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness or whatever it was that kept them together and let other people clean up the mess they had made.
While Gatsby stands outside their house, watching over nothing, still hoping.
Still clinging to the dead dream. It's a devastating end to the climax.
So the morning after the accident, the dust is settling, but the tragedy is far from over. Gatsby finally tells Nick the real story of his past.
Yeah, no more Rajas or San Francisco. He reveals he was James Gatz from North Dakota, poor farm boy with huge ambitions.
Met that millionaire, Dan Cody, on his yacht.
Right. Cody took him under his wing, showed him the world of wealth, though Gatsby didn't inherit Cody's money due to legal issues. But Cody gave him the education, the taste for it. And Gatsby tells Nick about Daisy, about committing himself to the grail of winning her back.
Admits he took her under false pretenses back in Louisville.
Basically, yeah. Letting her believe he came from the same wealthy background she did. He understood, he tells Nick, that Daisy's voice was full of money, because wealth itself imprisons and preserves her kind, keeps them safe and proud above the hot struggles of the poor.
So his whole life became about building a fortune big enough to reclaim that prize.
Exactly. Building a world worthy of the idealized Daisy he carried in his mind. He's still hoping she'll call, even after everything.
But meanwhile, back in the Valley of Ashes, George Wilson is falling apart.
Completely unraveling. Michaelis, the coffee shop owner next door, tries to comfort him, but Wilson is distraught. He found that expensive dog leash Myrtle bought.
The proof of the affair, the betrayal.
And he starts staring out the window at those giant eyes on the billboard. Dr. Eckleburg.
God sees everything, he keeps repeating.
He's conflated the billboard with divine judgment. He's convinced the driver of the yellow car the man Tom told him owned it didn't just hit Myrtle accidentally, but murdered her. And God saw it all. He's consumed by grief and a need for vengeance.
Fueled by Tom's convenient lie.
Precisely. Wilson disappears, sets off to find the owner of the yellow car.
And he finds Gatsby at his mansion.
Gatsby's decided to take a swim, first time all summer. He's floating in the pool on an air mattress. Wilson finds him there.
Shoots him.
Kills him, believing he's avenging Myrtle's death, killing her lover and murderer. Then Wilson turns the gun on himself. Dies there in the grass. The Holocaust, as Nick calls it, is complete.
Just devastating. And the reaction from everyone else.
Tells you everything you need to know about that world. Nick tries to reach Daisy.
Gone. She and Tom left that afternoon, took baggage, left no forwarding address, just vanished.
Wiped their hands clean, retreated back into their money, exactly as Nick predicted, complete abandonment.
Nick tries to arrange a proper funeral, get people to come.
And it's just pathetic. He calls Meyer Wolfsheim,
Gatsby's supposed friend and business partner.
and Wolfsheim refuses point blank to get mixed up in it.
Yeah.
It's that incredibly cynical line about showing friendship when a man is alive, not dead. Business is business. Sentiment is dangerous.
Wow. Then there's Klipspringer, the guy who basically lived at Gatsby's house all summer.
The boarder. He calls Nick back, but not to offer condolences or show up.
He wants his tennis shoes back.
Can you believe it? That's the extent of his connection to Gatsby. It just highlights how transactional, how empty all those relationships really were. Gatsby was a resource, a host, not a friend to these people.
The only person who seems to genuinely care, besides Nick, is...
His father, Henry C. Gatz. He arrives from Minnesota, this poor, proud old man.
And he brings that little book, doesn't he? Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah, a childhood book of Jimmy's. And inside, on the flyleaf, is that schedule Gatsby wrote for himself as a boy. September 12th, 1906.
It lists things like dumbbell exercises, studying electricity, practicing elocution.
Read one improving book or magazine per week. Save money. It's heartbreakingly earnest. It shows the original, pure American dream drive in self-improvement, discipline, hard work.
So the core ambition was there from the start. It just got twisted along the way.
Exactly. He never lost the desire to be great, but he abandoned the slow, honest path once Daisy became the goal. He needed wealth fast, and that led him to Wolfsheim and the underworld.
The funeral itself,
Yeah.
it's bleak.
So empty, a rainy day. Nick, Mr. Gatz, the minister, a few servants, the postman from West Egg.
And Allies, the guy from the library.
He shows up right at the end, looks around at the emptiness and says it all. Oh, my God. They used to go there by the hundreds.
And his final comment on Gatsby.
The poor son of a bitch. It's rough, but it's maybe the most honest, humane thing said about Gatsby after his death, acknowledging the tragedy and the humanity despite everything.
After this, Nick knows he has to leave. The East feels haunted to him.
Yeah, distorted. He breaks it off with Jordan Baker. She calls him out for being too judgmental, basically, and repeats her careless philosophy. It takes two to make an accident. Shows she hasn't learned anything.
And he has one last run-in with Tom.
Confronts him. Tom admits, without apology, that he told Wilson who owned the yellow car. He felt Gatsby deserved it, claims Wilson was crazy enough to kill him too. Utterly self-justified.
Confirms Nick's judgment. Careless people.
Absolutely. Tom and Daisy retreat back into their wealth, unscathed. Nick's final act before leaving is seeing an obscene word someone scrawled on Gatsby's steps and erasing it.
A small gesture of respect. Cleaning up the final bit of ugliness.
Something like that. Trying to restore some dignity to the dream, maybe, even after it was so thoroughly broken. #tag outro.
When you put it all together like that, the
Yeah.
sheer scale of Gatsby's ambition and those parties compared to the absolute desolation of his death and funeral, It's just staggering.
The contrast is overwhelming. All that effort, all that hope, reduced to a handful of mourners in the rain and a forgotten pair of tennis shoes. The price he paid for chasing that illusion was total.
So what's the final nugget, the core takeaway from these first 9 chapters, from this whole arc?
I think it has to be Nick's closing thoughts, where he connects Gatsby's personal tragedy to something bigger, to the American dream itself. Gatsby believed in that green light, didn't he?
Yeah, the orgiastic future that year by year recedes before us.
He truly believed he could recapture the past, achieve a perfect, clean slate just by running faster, reaching further. He embodied that relentless American optimism, that belief in reinvention.
But the past wouldn't let go. Class, money, history,
Yeah,
it all conspired against him.
exactly. And Fitzgerald's final haunting image is that we're all like Gatsby in a way. So we be on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. We strive for the future, but we're constantly pulled back by where we came from, by history.
Gatsby tried to outrun his past, rewrite it with money, but ultimately it caught up with him.
It did. His immense effort to build this perfect future based on a corrupted present, funded by illegal means, just couldn't hold. So maybe the final thought for you, listening, is this. If the American dream requires immense wealth to even seem attainable, but the paths to that wealth, especially rapid wealth, are often morally compromised. Is the dream itself fundamentally flawed? Is chasing the green light always going to lead us back into the murky waters of the past?